welcome back to my channel. Today I will be filming my April TBR video. I cannot believe A, how quickly March went, and B, that it's already April. I feel like just 2 weeks ago I was doing my February TBR. So it's time to film the April one. I will put the rules down below for the Tic-Tac-Toe TBR game that I play. But essentially I have a grid, a 3x3 grid with 9 spaces, and I will use a wheel to generate a prompt to fill each spot, and then I'll pick a book for each spot. And then the aim is for me to read 3 in a row, up, across or diagonally, and then I'll have won the game. So here was my March grid and the books that I needed to read in March, and these are the books that I read. So as you can see, I failed already. 2 months in and I've failed my challenge already. Like, come on. So frustrating. But yeah, I just didn't love the books that I was reading in March. I wasn't excited by my TBR as much as I was for February, so yeah, lessons to be learnt, but I feel like I need a punishment for failing already, particularly only on the second round of this game. So I've decided going forward, my punishment for if I don't complete a 3 in a row anywhere will be I have to unhaul a book. So this month, this may be cheating, but this month I actually had a DNF book, so I'm going to be unhauling that one, which may be a little loophole in my plan, but nonetheless I am unhauling a book. I'm going to be unhauling Adults by Emma Jane Unsworth. I just didn't love this. I only read about 50 pages of it, but it just wasn't really my thing. It was for the prompt of lowest rated book on your TBR, which I think probably gave me like a negative vibe going in, so that probably didn't help, but she's just a bit whingy and a bit complainy, and it just felt quite dated, and yeah, I just didn't love it. I was listening to the audiobook, which probably wasn't helping, but I was just zoning out completely, and I just realised I had actually no interest in the book, so I'm unhauling this one. Yeah, which is a shame because I really thought I would like this book. I've had it in my TBR for a while and I've kept it for a long time because I've been excited to read it, but not for me, and that's okay. Okay, now that is all out of the way, let's get up my TBR wheel. Hopefully I'll put it up on the screen here. And let's spin. So we're going to spin it 9 times to get 9 prompts, and then we'll pick a book for each prompt. Okay, I'm just recording. Let's go. So spin number 1 is a Kindle book. Okay, I just added these 2 prompts, physical and Kindle, just to mix it up a little bit. So I've just got a Kindle book that is very straightforward. I actually got a new Kindle in March, which is super exciting. I've got it here, so I've got the Kindle Paperwhite. If you have watched any of my videos and see me talk about my Kindle, you will know my old one was absolutely ancient. I think I'd had it over 10 years. It was still working, but it was getting a lot slower. It wasn't a touchscreen one, it had no backlight, it was the buttons around the side. So yeah, I finally got a new one. My boyfriend actually bought it for me, so I'm very grateful to him for that, but I'm so excited to be using it. So I'm actually really happy that I got a Kindle book as my first prompt, because I will definitely be reading a lot of Kindle books this month, just because I'm excited at the novelty of having a new Kindle. So prompt number 1, a Kindle book. I have picked The Dance Tree by Kieran Millward Hargrave. I read her first book, The Mercies, a couple of years ago now and loved it, 5 stars, and have had her next book, The Dance Tree, on my TBR since, but I have never got around to it, so I'm really looking forward to getting to read this one. I'm not 100% sure what this one is about, but her last book, The Mercies, was kind of like rooted in history, and I think it was like kind of like a retelling of a historical kind of legend. So I assume her next one will be something similar. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that one this month. Okay, so prompt number 2, let's spin the wheel. Recently purchased. Oh great, so I literally just posted a book haul, all the books that I've bought from the last 3 months of the year. So I definitely have a lot of books to choose from that, and all books that I'm really excited for, so that's a great one to have. So for my most recent buy, as I said, I've done a big book haul on my channel, probably the video before this, so I have got a lot to choose from, but I have picked Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Since finishing Part of Your World, I've just been eager to get to more of her backlist, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I think I'm definitely getting to this one this month. This follows Brianna, who is the friend of Alexis in the first book, so they're kind of linked. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, what kind of tropes it follows, but if I'm honest, I don't really care. I am just really excited to kind of dive back into this world and this writing. She's quickly becoming an author that I am very excited to read more from. Spin number 3, the top row. No! I had this one last month as well, the oldest book on your TBR. I mean, this is a really good prompt to get rid of some books that have been sat on my TBR for a while, but I just want to read the new exciting books. So completing the top line, I got the oldest book on my TBR. So this one was actually a Kindle book. Okay, I'm lying. I have a confession. Technically, the oldest book on my TBR is The Red Queen by Philippa Gregory, which is the sequel to The White Queen, because I bought them both at the same time. But I read The White Queen last month because I had the same prompt, oldest book on your TBR, and whilst I enjoyed that book, I need a break before going back into the next book. So I am cheating slightly, but I'm going to the next oldest book on my TBR, which is only a couple of months older than them two, so I think it can be allowed. The next oldest book on my TBR is The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. This is a thriller. Again, I don't know too much what it's about now because it's been on my TBR for so long, but I just know that it was an absolute classic when it came out. Everyone loved it. And was raving about it, and I just never got round to it. I think it's kind of about a stalker vibe, and there's a weird woman that she can see from a window. I'm not 100% sure. But it would be nice to get through my backlist, particularly Kindle books. I feel like once they are a few years old on my Kindle, I just forget about them and don't ever pick them up because they've been there for so long and they're hidden, whereas the old books on my physical TBR look at me and make me feel guilty. So it'll be good to get that one completed. For the second row, we are going to have a book with a number in the title. Oh, none spring to mind straight away. I just read 50/50, which would be a perfect one for that. I've picked Agatha Christie's The Big Four, which is the next Poirot book I need to read in that series. I'm trying to read them all in kind of chronological order of when they came out, and this is the next one. I think it's book 5 in the Poirot series. So I really hope I can get to this month. I've got it on Kindle again, and it will just be really good to make some progress in that series because it's such a long series and I need to keep up reading it, otherwise I will never finish it. Okay, the middle square, the most important square on the grid to get a good book for. What's it gonna be? The longest book on my TBR. Wow, okay. Guys, I'm scared. The longest book on my TBR. It's A Little Life. I've had this on my TBR for years and I have been terrified to read it. It's so big, it's so dense, it's going to be traumatic, but now's as good a time as any. I don't think I'm ever going to voluntarily pick this one up, so if the TBR makes me read it, I must read it. For my 6th spin, the second row completed, it is a book with an odd number of pages. I quite like this prompt because it kind of gives me a bit of flexibility. Saying that, I'm sure I will struggle to find one now. So I've picked The Village of 8 Graves by Seishi Yokomizo, who wrote The Honjin Murders, and this is kind of the next in that series that I have to read. This is the 3rd one that's been translated into English. I was doing really good at keeping up with them, like reading them as they came out, but I think there's like 5 out now, and this is the 3rd one, so I need to make some progress in this series. This is kind of pitched as like the Agatha Christie of Japan, so there's a real theme in my TBR this month. But yeah, I really enjoy his writing. It's very different to Agatha Christie in the kind of content and writing style, obviously, but it very much is a classic Japanese mystery. So yeah, and I do love a mystery, and yeah, they're always very clever books, so looking forward to this one. This one's a lot bigger than his other ones. The other two are quite a lot slimmer, so yeah, but it has got an odd number of pages. It's got 349 pages, so definitely an odd number. So for the last row, the first book I'll be reading in that row is a contemporary. Lovely, nice. For a contemporary, I've picked another Kindle book, and I've picked Veronica Ruiz Breaks the Bank, which is a novella in the Finlay Donovan series by El Casimiro. Again, I really enjoy this series. It would be great to make some more progress, and it's a nice short one, so that's great. This follows Vera, who is kind of the sidekick to Finlay Donovan. She kind of helps her with her mess and her cleanup, if you know what I'm on about. She plays such an integral role in the Finlay Donovan series, but we don't actually ever know much about her and her life, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting a bit of her backstory in as well. Spin number 8, let's go. A book with black on the cover. Ooh, I'm thinking it's going to be a mystery thriller type book. They typically tend to have a lot of black on the cover. So for a book with black on the cover, I've picked Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This cover has got black on it. They haven't all, but I've gone for the Kindle edition because I will be reading it on my Kindle. And yeah, so I want to read some more non-fiction, and this one has been top of my TBR for a long time. I finally got hold of it on Kindle, so yeah, definitely looking forward to reading that one and getting another non-fiction done, and obviously it's a really important read, so yes, good one to have on my TBR. Okay, this is it, my final spin. What's it going to be? Let's end on a good one. A reread. Oh, amazing! I haven't reread a book in a long time, so that's exciting. I'm glad to have an excuse to reread a book. Often I feel like I want to just keep reading new books that I haven't read before, so it's good to have an excuse to go back and read an old favourite. And then finally for reread, I've picked a favourite. I've picked The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I don't like this cover, but this was an absolute 5-star read when I read it a few years ago now. God, probably like 4 or 5 years ago I read this, and it's stayed one of my favourite books of all time, so I think it's overdue a reread. It would be lovely to get to this if I can. Just, yeah, I really liked this. This follows a 9-year-old girl living in Nazi Germany in 1939, but it's told from the perspective of death itself, which was a really interesting concept, and yeah, I really love this one, so looking forward to hopefully rereading that one this month. Like I say, I don't reread many books, and it would be a little treat to get to reread one rather than just always reading new books. So yeah, hopefully I can get to this one this month. So this is the stack of 4 physical books that I have to read this month, and then the 5 Kindle books as well. Like I say, I got a new Kindle this month, so I think I will be preferring to read my Kindle books over physical, so that's why I've picked like a higher proportion of Kindle books than usual. But yeah, so hopefully I can get a good amount of books read this month, and maybe be a bit more successful than March. I'm a lot more excited for this TBR than I was last month, so hopefully that stands me in good stead to enjoy the books I read. And yes, stay tuned to find out if I read them, I guess, and let me know which ones I should start with. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!